Holy mother of... Hey guys, Chelsea from Attention to Details here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and today I'm working on this 2018 Ford F150. Now I want to give you a little bit of backstory what's going on with this paint. Customer, this is his dream vehicle. He actually waited 50 years to be able to get this type of truck, and he was so excited when he purchased this used to him. There were some issues with the paint. There was actually a respray on the hood, on the side panels, and you can tell when I put my paint thickness gauge on them, they're around 11, 12 microns on the hood and about 8 on the side. Everywhere else on the vehicle, we're reading standard like 4.5 microns thick of paint, which that's standard for factory paint. So this tells me, yes, those are resprays. And in fact, they're bad resprays. You can see like kind of the texture of the spray gun in certain areas, and there's not anything I can do to fix that. But the customer had a lot of really deep rids. You could see right here like these deep lines on the paint. Now my fingernail doesn't catch on the paint, so that means that they're not below the clear coat. They should be able to be compounded or polished off. But what happened is this customer wanted to fix the paint himself, which majority of owners or drivers, that's what you're gonna do. And what he did is he went to the store, picked up the first bottle of compound that he found, which was Meguiar's M105, which for those of you that have never used it, know that it is actually a pretty aggressive compound. It's one of the most aggressive ones on the market. And he, by hand, was using the pad that came with it, maybe even a terry towel or something like that. He said it was, I think, either the microfiber pad that came with it, but by hand, and he tried to remove the swirls and scratches. And you can see this is kind of some of the damage that he inflicted. It's on this panel, it's on this panel, a little bit over here, and when he saw what he was doing, he stopped because he started to panic. He called me, he came over and showed me what was going on and said, I don't know what to do. Now, as a detailer, I've had a lot of experience with polishing paint, and this doesn't scare me whatsoever, and it shouldn't scare you. If this is something that has happened to your paint, let me just kind of try to talk you through what my process is going to be to fix the situation. So like I said, my fingernail doesn't catch on these deep scratches right here, so that means they should be able to be compounded out. Now, all of this fine swirls and kind of spider webbing that you're seeing on the paint, this is what we call micro marring. And what happens is if you use too aggressive of either a compound or polish or pad, you can cause these micro marring or these microscopic scratches on the paint. And a lot of times this is an easy fix. If I were to come in with a white pad and a polish, this would refine a majority of the micro marring on the paint and it would clean it up. Now we're still going to have these deeper rids right here, so we are going to have to do like a compound to try to remove this, which it's going to cause its own micro marring, not as much. But we will then follow up with a polish pad and a polish, and this will refine down beautifully. Now, whenever you want to polish your paint, let's say you are an enthusiast and you want to do this yourself. Now, you can see I'm using a dual action polisher over there. I have a yellow Rupes foam pad. Foam is going to be your friend in this moment. A lot of times people, they're familiar with rotaries, they're familiar with wool pads because that's kind of old school what they've seen their dads using, or maybe people within the industry. But if you don't know what you're doing, I would say put the rotary down. Even this was done by hand. A dual action polisher is not going to be as aggressive as a rotary, but it's going to be able to help you finish down a lot better, especially more effectively and faster than if you were to do something by hand. But whenever you are polishing, you want to start with the least aggressive method and work your way forward. So that means you want to start off always with a polish and maybe a white polishing pad, or at most like an orange foam pad. If you don't get the level of correction that you want, then you can step up your aggressiveness with pad, or possibly, let's say you've got like deep lines like this on your paint. If you find that that's not removing a lot of the more severe swirls or scratches on the paint, then you can step up to a compound. But sometimes you may have to finish up with a polish because the paint is soft. And let me explain what that means. So a lot of times within the detailing industry, we will refer to paint as soft, medium, or hard. And that is a terminology we use to describe the ability of the paint to finish down. If you have soft paint, that is going to be easily corrected, but it's also going to be easily scratched. So if you use too aggressive of a compound or too aggressive of a pad to try to remove deep swirls and scratches, what can happen a lot of times is that it's going to leave micro marring on the paint, and you're going to have to finish up with a polish and a white pad to kind of refine it and give you that clarity, because you're going to have kind of micro marring. Let me illustrate that for you over here. So you can actually see here where the customer did the damage. Now I did a test spot over here, and you can see I had my tape kind of right here, and I actually was using a wool pad from Rupes. It's their medium wool polishing pad, and I was able to remove a lot of the deep scratches. But what happened is, you can see the paint isn't very clear. What I actually did is micro marring to the paint, and what you need to do in that situation, because the paint is softer or medium and I was using too aggressive of a pad, I had to come up here, and you can see we did a white foam polishing pad, and now we have refined the paint, we have greater clarity, we got rid of all that micro marring. When you come in here, so this was our before, this was after doing a one step, and you can see we don't have very good clarity around our light. And then up here, we were able to refine it, and it is a world of a difference. Now this was a two-step, but for severe scratches like this, softer paint, and just to give us the end result that we're looking for, we do have to do a two-step. Now, majority of the rest of this vehicle, where we don't have such severe scratches, I might be able to get by with a medium polish and our yellow Rupes foam pad and be able to give me the results that I'm looking for. So that is just kind of an example or scenario for soft, medium, hard paint. If you have really hard paint, you could use something like your medium wool pad, a medium polish, and it's actually going to finish down really well, because you're not going to have to follow up with that polishing pad. They can take a little bit more of an aggressive method to polish. They're going to finish down a lot more, but there are some times that you may have to use a super aggressive method, like a rotary, or like maybe a purple wool pad from Lake Country, and then from there maybe do a two-step based on the severity of the paint. But your average daily driver is going to look more like this, where you've just kind of got these bigger lines and swirls around it. You're not going to have necessarily, all of these deep rids all over the paint. But I'm going to go ahead, put you guys on time lapse. I'm going to share with you guys how I would approach a situation like this and give us the results that the customer I know is going to be really happy with. So this vehicle was an evolution of knowledge for me, and that's one thing that I love about paint correction, is that I'm constantly learning. Every vehicle is a different scenario. So what I was doing on this panel, I was using the Rupes wool foam polishing pad to remove the severe rids and deeper scratches that were on the panel. It did a fantastic job with Angel Wax Resurrection. It's one of my favorite heavy-duty compounds. Normally on medium paint, hard paint, I can finish down to almost perfection with this one product. Even the medium wool polishing pad on medium hard paint is a fantastic pad to be able to work, but I found that this paint was extremely soft. Now, I'm not the type of detailer that chases paint perfection. One, it's sometimes too aggressive on the clear coat, and two, it's a black vehicle. It's more than likely going to get swirled and scratched in the future as it's just used, so it's kind of an unattainable goal on a daily driver. But these rids were pretty deep and pretty severe, so here I am just quickly going back over those deep rids one more time. You can see the motion. I'm going quick back and up and over it, so that way I keep the panel cool so that I don't swell the paint or cause any sort of holograms. But we do have severe micro marring, so I have to go over it with a finishing polish. Now, I was using Angel Wax Resurrection for my heavy cut compound. Here I tried Angel Wax Redemption, which is their ultra fine finishing polish, using a white foam pad, and I was idealistic that this was going to remove the micro marring and give us a perfect finish. It's a two-step, isn't it? I did a compound, I did a polish, but I quickly discovered after pulling out a different set of lights that we still had some micro marring going on. And this is where the evolution of knowledge came into play, because I must have tried almost close to 10 different combinations of products to try to get that finished result. And I'll share with you guys my findings in just a moment, but I didn't want to not share these findings with you or be transparent with you guys, because no polisher or no A paint correction specialist is going to immediately know how to assess every situation with every vehicle right off the bat. So when you're doing paint correction, it is a process and you need to give yourself time, every vehicle, to figure out the panels. So I just got done with the video sharing with you guys the results on this side of our panel and kept moving around the vehicle. I have the roof, I have the hood done, I had this section done, and started to work over here. And let me share with you, this is my paint correction light, and you can see we've got really nice gloss, really nice reflection. We've got almost like a blue metallic flake in this black paint. But over here, the side that I polished down, we used the Rupes wool pad and the white polishing pad to kind of finish up. You can see I still have a tick of micro-marring if we come in here, versus over here, I don't have that. So that just goes to show you, one, you can do a good job of removing swirls and scratches, but if I'm just going by this light, it looks decent. But even when I come over here, it looks very, very similar. But if I come in with my swirl correction finder light, I'm seeing a world of a difference. So lighting is extremely important to be able to see the swirls and scratches. So now I know that I need to actually go over this with the product that I actually was using on this panel here. And you can see we did our panel prep wipe already. If I come in here, it looks fantastic. And I was actually using a yellow foam pad from Rupes, and I was using Griot's Garage Correcting Cream, which can remove moderate paint defects, but it finishes down really nicely, and especially in this scenario you can see. So even I'm continuously learning, and as a paint correction person, you need to have good lighting to be able to see the defects properly. Don't just stick with one light source. Make sure you have numerous light sources. A lot of times I'll wear the type of light that's up here on my head to be able to see as I'm working the polish. And you can see there's kind of the polishing holes from where I stopped. So this is before, and then this is what we were able to achieve. And even this, we still might need to kind of finish down with a polishing pad. Alright, so I just got done using an orange pad with the correcting cream on this section here. We did a panel wipe. Actually went over this section again with the orange pad. Still picking up. This is just not fun paint whatsoever. I was able to remove more swirls and scratches on this side using the yellow pad. Orange, there's definitely probably 50% more. I was able to get about, I would say, like 50%, 60% correction. Over here, possibly 75%. Over here, a lot more of our deeper rids are gone. We still need to finish this down. But it's possible that correcting cream is not finishing down the way that I want. But I've been using a lot of different compounds and polishes between Oberk cut and polish, kind of a 2-in-1 on one pad. Been using Angel Wax Regenerate, and that's been okay. Maybe we'll try that out again. Let's see what a medium polish on the orange pad can do versus correcting cream. Man, I'm getting tired. Alright, so this is after going over this section real quick with an orange pad and Optimum Hyper Polish, and that is the best clarity that I've seen so far. You can still see over here where I didn't use that product. We've kind of gotten rid of that haze on the paint. So I think we found our ending combo. Just sucks that it's got to be a two-step, but unfortunately with black paint, that is the scenarios that sometimes you just can't avoid. So now that I know, we're going to be able to finish both of these panels out with Optimum Hyper Polish. Alright, we are done with the Hyper Polish and the orange pad. And we even did it on this side real quick. This is our before, and this is our finished result. We got rid of that kind of hazing that was on the paint, and we finished down well enough. Again, you can see a different level of correction from this section here where I use the yellow pad to the orange pad. All right, guys, we are back day 2 working on this F150, and we're getting really great results. I've got this entire side done, the tailgate. We've got the back left side of the tailgate done, and we've got around 3 panels on the other side and the front grille to finish up. But now that I know what combination is working with this paint, it is going a lot faster and a lot smoother. So let me share with you some of the issues I was running into with this paint. So I have a lot of pads that I can pull from the Lake Country blue HDO pads, the orange foam pads from Lake Country, McKee's 37, some yellow foam pads. Like you can see here, I have Jesscar pads, I have Oberk pads, I have Lake Country pads, I have McKee's 37 pads of various colors, various cuts. I even have microfiber pads. Now, this paint I have found, you can see I was testing out numerous different pads. We had the Rupes wool yellow foam polishing pad, we had the Rupes yellow foam pads, the orange Lake Country orange pads, the orange white foam pads from Lake Country, even the blue HDO. I was trying to see would one pad kind of cut and finish down a little bit better, and I found that no matter what pad I used to cut with, the orange pads were not aggressive enough to correct the defects that were on the paint. Yellow corrected nicely, but it was too aggressive and it was leaving micro-marring, so I had to do a 2-step. And I even tried a multitude of combinations of polishes. I was trying even Oberk cut and polish, maybe trying an orange pad with 2 drops of cut, 2 drops polish. Tried the same thing with IGL F1, F3. I didn't want to necessarily do straight up compound and be super aggressive. I was trying to see if I could keep this a 1-step. Even tried Resurrection, did fantastic correction, but micro-marred the crap out of the paint. Regenerate did a great job on a yellow pad, finishing down and giving me correction, but again, micro-marring, but an orange pad, it wasn't aggressive enough. So it was just as constant. I even tried One and Done, compounding glaze from the last cut, Detail Addicts, which is normally, these are my go-to for like heavily defects on paint. Even tried Americana Global 1500 and Finesse, and even Sonex Perfect Finish, just to say, hey, can I, maybe get decent correction, finish down well? It's still, this was not correcting near enough. And essentially, I just landed with what's going to be an easy product for me to use. It's not going to dust a lot. So we landed with Griot's Garage Correcting Cream with a yellow Rupes foam pad. And then I am taking a white foam pad and doing 1 spray of Optimum Hyper Polish. And it is giving me fantastic end results. We did have some issues with hard water spots on the roof of the truck, so Underdog WSP was fantastic because even polishing wasn't removing the water spots. They were that badly etched. So WSP was great to have in my arsenal. But for those of you that are, always asking the question, what polishes or compounds do I need to have in my arsenal? As you can see, not one product is going to be the answer for everything. In fact, there were certain panels that I had to switch it up because what I was using may have been not aggressive enough or too aggressive. So you have to be extremely aware of, your products, know how to use them, have right lighting. So let me share with you, now that I know what is working, let me share with you guys the results we're getting and why I'm satisfied with them. So using this combination of the yellow Rupes foam polishing pad, the Griot's Correcting Cream, I did about 3 or 4 passes with this product at around speed 4.5. I was able to get, I would say, 85 to 90% correction. Now, you might be asking, why didn't I go for paint perfection? Why didn't I use a more aggressive pad to get every single defect out of the paint? Well, we were already at like 4.5 microns, like I said, of paint. Once you get into the low 4s, high 3s, you're getting dangerously thin with your clear coat. So I felt like this was aggressive enough to get the defects out, but not overly aggressive that I run the risk of damaging the paint or taking off too much clear coat. Thankfully, the Optimum Hyper Polish, out of all of the polishes I had in my arsenal, did a fantastic job of finishing down quickly at about 2 passes, around speed 3.5, 4. We removed all of the polish oils. Then I used my Meguiar's Surface Prep to remove the polishing oils. And you can see we've got true correction, no fillers, fantastic end result that the customer is absolutely blown away. I know he's going to fall in love with his vehicle all over again. So hopefully this helps some of you out that maybe you are wanting to pursue paint correction or want to take your game a little bit deeper, or maybe you're running into a situation where you're frustrated and you don't know what to do. Here you can kind of see my process of how I work through some of these scenarios. Not every vehicle is going to be as difficult. Not every vehicle is going to have the same solution or the same combination. But that's the fun thing about paint correction. You're constantly learning, constantly evolving as a detailer. So hopefully you enjoy this video and this closer look at some of my processes. Here's the finished result before we get it coated. I'm really happy with the end result. But thanks guys for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.